Hey everybody, welcome to Monday, January 12th. Can you guys hear me? Can you see me? Let me pull up my...
Okay, yeah, I can see.
What? I can't see the messages, Nina. Oh, maybe I can. All right, I just want to make sure that you guys can hear me, can see me. I don't see any messages yet, so maybe that's just because I can't.
There's two.
Oh, I don't see them on my page.
Three.
Can I use your laptop then? Welcome to the session today. How come I don't see those?
I don't know what's going on.
I think I need a technology class, yes. Okay, cool. I'm going to use my daughter's laptop in the background here. Welcome to the session. I feel a little like silly today. I don't know why. Let's go through and see if we have some questions. I love the hearts, by the way. I didn't really do anything last week, so I had. You guys might remember here. Let's see. So I had these Mara shares, and those got called away, and that's fine. Like I had 100 shares of Mara, and then it had a strike price of $10. You guys might recall from last week, and Mara closed over $10, so my shares went away. It's all good, and now I have nothing in my account. So you guys will see right here. I have actually you'll see right here. Let me show you in a different spot. I usually look at the Schwab page for that. So just cash. So you'll see I started this account with $5,000. I think that was just a couple weeks ago. Now it's at 5101. I really haven't done anything to it except put a couple trades in. So I made $100 so far in realized gains. So that's important that you guys know. Realized gains, not paper gains. Way better. And you'll see what's my gain-loss ratio. 100%. That's super common. Now, I won't see the trade that got assigned this past Friday, the Mara shares. I won't see that in my realized gain-loss page until tomorrow. So the way Schwab does it is it doesn't update until Tuesday. Different broker-dealers do it differently. But right now I just have cash. So I could do one of a couple of things. I could just put another trade in, but I want to go through some questions. Let me answer Chuck's question first. Hello, first time viewing. Is it better to watch your Udemy videos before watching the streams? I think they're all pretty good. The Udemy class I did a few years back, so that's really good. But it's a little bit dated, and I have tons and tons and tons of content here on YouTube. I've been putting up a video every day for over 6 months now, which is actually crazy to me. It gets a little challenging sometimes. But yeah, I mean, you could do it together. The purpose of the live stream is to go through a live account. So this is actually a real live account, and we go through, trades and that sort of thing. So yeah. T+1 means it's settled on Tuesday. Yeah, everything, I'm not sure what this is. Lexlin says time for a new trade. Buenos dias, hello, hello, hello. Texas in the house. Yeah, I'm not in Texas or anything. Who's on the East Coast right now? It is cold AF on the East Coast, and I'm about ready to go back to LA. Tell me in the chat who are the Amsterdam. I love that. Tell me in the chat who's the East Coast and the West Coast people. East Coast. Chuck is in the East Coast. Yeah, let me know in the chat. Anyway, in the meantime, let's just look at a quick trade for today. I had Mara last week, and I typically stick with all the same things. Now, the thing is, Mara is up 5% today, as you can see here, up almost 6%. So when stocks are up, the put prices are down a little bit. So, for example, if I were to sell can you guys see my screen here? Oh, why is it like this, Nina? I'm showing this, right?
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
That's strange.
Can you guys see my screen? Can you see my
And redo it.
my Thinkorswim page?
Stop sharing it and try it again.
No, I don't do it that way. I don't know. All right. Well, anyway, I think you guys can see my screen, and if you can't, it's interesting because I can't see it on my daughter's laptop. I'm not a tech savvy person, but listen, guys, I want to tell you one thing. I have been working before I go through this trade, which I'm going to go through this trade in a moment. Before I do that, I want to tell you guys that I have been working like mad on this Duolingo kind of site that is so amazing. It's kind of like, trading is like another language, and Duolingo is really cool to teach a language and learn a language online. This is kind of like very similar to that, where it walks you through using like gamified little games and like quick questions and answers on trading. It's so exciting, and I've been working on it for a really long time, and I'm going to release it soon. I think hopefully the next few days. I'm just testing the final points. So yeah, all right. So let's go through and look at selling a put if we wanted to use Mara, right? So right now Mara is 1082. I had the $10 call that I sold on Friday because the shares got assigned. I always like to rebuy shares at a lower price. So I don't really like to pay the same price. I mean, I can sometimes, and I don't mind sometimes, but I prefer to pay a little bit less. Now, if I sold a 950 put, that's not really going for that much money. It's only going for $6. Let me see. Let me pull up a applications calculator. Let's just see what that rate of return is. Let's see. So $6. Also, don't forget, I'm going to pay like a transaction charge. So let's say $5 divided by $950. If I invest $950, that's about 0.5%. If I did a trade like this every week, it's like 27%. It's not that much. Usually, I don't put trades in like this. I want to get like a little bit more income. I could also buy 100 shares and then sell an at-the-money call, right? So calls are more expensive when the stock is going up. So if I did that, if I bought 100 shares at $10.83, which is more Mars trading right now, and then I sold an $11 call, that's going for $32. Let's see what the rate of return is on that. 32 divided by, let's see, 1083. That's almost 3%. If I did a trade like that every week, now I'm making 153% on my money. So not bad for that. But honestly, I prefer to keep my money in cash and drive income off cash and not necessarily shares. So what I'm going to do, because I really haven't had a lot of time to kind of look through some things, I'm just not going to put a trade in today. And here's the thing. You don't have to feel like you got to put a trade in every day. Like as traders and people that create like income, sometimes we can feel sort of, pressured. I want to put this trade in. I want to make this money, that sort of thing. But it's okay to totally skip that. So it's, yeah. So that's what I'm going to do. Maybe I'll put a trade in tomorrow. I don't know. If I do, I'll go live and show it to you. And in the meantime, I'm going to go through some questions and answers here. Let's see. Ottawa, Boston. Oh, I used to live in Boston a long time ago. Let's see. So here's a question or a comment from Daryl. Let's see. I sold BBAI covered call. I started off just buying the shares instead of a cash secured put, but I'm here now 100%. That's cool. I like BBAI, and I have that in another account as well. That's a good AI company. I mean, they have a big contract with the government, I think, most recently. And the share price is only $6.26. And let me just read this again. Selling a covered call, like let's walk through that. For example, let's say I wanted to buy 100 shares and then sell a call at the money, or a little bit over what I pay for the shares. You can do that. and you can, buy the shares for $6.25. So you're investing $625, very, very small amount of money. And then you take in $14 for selling a 650 call. What's our rate of return? Let's take a look. I always calculate the rate of return. $14 divided by, let's see, $625 as an example. You're making 2% on your money. If you do that every week, you're making over 100% per year. So that's actually a pretty good trade. Good job. Your videos are very informative. I'm in Portugal and interesting. That's interesting. I've never been to Portugal. I've been to Spain a few times, and I've wanted to go to Portugal. So thank you. I appreciate you reaching out from Portugal. Very, very cool. And here's the thing about trading. You can be anywhere in the world and put trades in. And so that's kind of cool. Like, where else can you sort of have this, side gig where you create income for yourself, where you don't actually have to be anywhere in particular. So very, very cool. Connecticut in the house. I used to live in Connecticut a long time ago. Interesting. Lexlin did a covered call on NVIDIA. NVIDIA is actually one of my favorite stocks. I really, really like NVIDIA. Let's take a look at it. Let's see. NVIDIA, NVDA. Okay, so 186.02. Let's see. One covered call. So let's just kind of walk through this. Let's say I wanted to, buy NVIDIA, 100 shares, and then sell an at-the-money call. You can do that, or you can sell a put on it. I always start by looking at the chart, so we can take a look. Okay, it goes up, it goes down, it goes up. NVIDIA is like one of the strongest AI companies that there is, so very, 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 very good. I don't have enough money in this small $5,000 account to trade NVIDIA. I could trade it via the exchange traded funds, the leveraged ETFs, but I don't really like using those. So yeah, I'm not going to look at that. Let me take a look and see what other comments we have. Duolingo is down bigly. I didn't even know Duolingo was a public. Duolingo stock. Let's see what that, whoops, sorry. Duolingo stock. DUOL. I didn't even know that they were a public company. Interesting. DUOL. Let's take a look at it. And then let me know in the chat if you guys want to see anything else in particular. 163.95 per share. I always take a look at the chart first. Ooh, that's, oh, look at all these gaps. These are interesting. So these are gaps in the chart, right? So this gap, typically gaps fill, So the fact that this stock went down over here and has kind of stayed flat for a while, that's an interesting thing. I'm going to look more at this stock, after. Irene. I don't like Irene, I have to tell you. Did you guys look at, I think I did a video recently on Irene. If you guys didn't see it, you should check it out. Irene is, if I'm not mistaken, I think this is the ticker that is diluting a lot of their shares. So SEC Edgar. So you want to take a look at the SEC filings, right? So we pull it up here, and then we type in Irene over here in the search box. And then we want to see, I want to see some 8K reports. Yeah, Irene is diluting their shares. So let me show you Irene as an example. They're very sideways, up significantly, down a lot, or a good chunk, and then up again. They remind me personally of MicroStrategy. They're diluting shares. They're issuing a lot of new shares out into the marketplace. I think they have some convertibles and things like that. Me personally, I would stay away from Irene. I wouldn't trade it. Yeah. Let's see. Let me see what other questions there are. How do you deal with fear when your options jump in price? Now, are you referring to calls or puts, or what is it that you're referring to? I feel like fear, let's talk about fear for a moment. Fear is like hardly ever happens. I don't have a lot of fear ever in anything. Selling cash secured puts. So here's the thing about fear. A lot of times you're like afraid of something and it never happens. Listen, if you sell a cash secured put, what you're doing is you're effectively saying, I'm okay buying the stock at that particular price if the stock drops to that price. And you're choosing the ticker, you're choosing the strike price, you're already in the driver's seat. You want to choose something that you are comfortable buying. So there's nothing to be afraid of. You want to make sure that you have enough cash, right? So like for example, this account that I have here, this $5,000 account, I'm trading Mara because, Mara's $10 a share. And if I had to buy Mara at $10 or $9.50 or whatever, and it went down more, I could buy more shares because I have cash on the side. So there's nothing to be afraid of. You want to make sure that the ticker is good. It's a good, solid, strong company. And secondarily, you want to make sure that it's a price that you'd pay for it. So yeah, there's nothing to be fearful of. Let's see. Steve says, I got a lot of comments, so I'm going to go through all of these. AMDL. Let's take a look at that. Let's see. Let me just type that in. AMDL. So this is from Steve here. 2x long. I don't even know what this is. What is AMDL? Let's take a look. AMDL stock. So if I'm not sure what something is, I just Google it. It's 2x AMD. Listen, I don't like these leveraged contracts. I did a video a couple weeks ago on leveraged contracts. There's a whole bunch of like swaps and futures in there. They don't make a lot of sense, and I don't trust them. I think short term they might be good, but I don't like these leveraged contracts. I wouldn't trade them. I think they are like, let me show you for example. Let me just pull up the fact sheet here as an example. Let's see. So, oops, I definitely don't want to subscribe to you. So it's based on AMD. Let me pull up the fact sheet and let's see. 2x long AMD daily ETF. They're seeking to hit 2 times the performance of the underlying, which is AMD. AMD is a good stock, but these particular, investments. Yeah, it doesn't really tell you a whole lot. I wouldn't trade that. So let's not look at that and spend too much time on it. Let's see. You ever look at CAR or BABI? I don't know what that is. I'm not sure, but let's take a look at it together. BABI. Let's see. BABI. Oops. I don't know. BBAI. I think is what you meant to say. Yes, I have traded Big Bear a bit. I have Big Bear in another account. I think that's a pretty good stock. I like AI in general. Hammer time. Option Queen. I love that Option Queen. OQ, like instead of OG, like original gangster. OQ, Option Queen. That's funny. So Hammer Time says you're my hero. Listen, I don't want to be any hero. I do appreciate that. I don't want to be anybody's heroes. I want to see other people make money the way I've been making money. And there are way too many people that are not happy in life. And I think money's an important thing in life, and it just makes a lot of things like way easier. So that's why I'm here. All right, let's get to some questions. What's the correct way to figure out rate of investment, ROI? I have a low cost basis in NVIDIA. I got $1.07 per share for January 16th. Rate of investment, ROR, rate of return, ROI, rate of investment. I mean, basically, all you're going to do is you're going to divide how much you're making divided by how much you have invested, right? And if you're using margin, I typically calculate your rate of return, using margin. as well as rate of return as if it was like a cash secured investment. So all of the cash, putting up all the cash and also using the margin. So basically, like for example, if I'm using NVIDIA as the viewer is asking here, let's say NVIDIA is 186, and I think you said you got paid $107. What you're doing is you're just going to divide 107. And how much do you have in the shares, right? So if you bought 100 shares at 185, you invested 18,500, just as an example. So that's about 0.5%. You're making that for 1 week's time, approximately, if it's a Friday contract. So you're going to multiply by 52, and that gives you a 30% annualized rate of return. So that's kind of how you walk through that. Super, super simple. Lorena says, hi, Michelle, I have shares of AGNC. What should I do? It's currently trading $11.81, a lot higher than what I paid for them, around $9.50, $10. But a covered call at the money, at that amount is in the money. Let's take a look. AGNC. I like when you guys bring me questions. Man, sometimes people email me questions. Hey, I got this stock and I'm having some trouble. Can you help me? And I don't usually like, and I don't like to respond, but in email about that kind of stuff. But here, walking through it, I don't mind doing it at all. So let's take a look. So you're asking about AGNC. I never heard of that stock. So let's just take a look. AGNC. So I always start with, so right off the bat, you want to notice a couple things. First of all, this chart looks quite nice. You know, slow and steady, up, up, and up. You do, however, notice that it pays a dividend. So you just have to be careful with things that pay dividends because sometimes their options contracts are a little bit quirky. Like if you're selling a call, it depends on the dividend date, so you want to make sure that you are aware of some of those things. Sometimes they have, let me see if this is the case. It's not. Sometimes they'll have like different options contracts, you know, delivering the dividend, not delivering the dividend. That is popular with leveraged companies. Not that this is the leveraged company, I don't even know what it is. But let's take a look and see how much it is. Now, somebody has said hold AGNC, it pays a good monthly dividend. I mean, that's a fair point. Dividend is one strategy, options trading is another strategy. Me personally, and I'm going to preface this by saying this. I mean, I don't know, like what works for me may not work for you, right? But for me, I like options income because it's steady, it's repeatable, it's consistent. Oh, Happy Man sent me $5. I love that. Oh my gosh. I have had, not to get off on a tangent, but I just happened to see it here on my laptop. I never knew you could do that. You could like tip people in YouTube. I appreciate that. Thank you, bro. Thank you so much. What I was saying about dividends, though, here's my thought about dividends, right? Dividends are cool because, I mean, dividends like pay you on a consistent basis. And it looks like, let's see, usually dividends are quarterly, but sometimes they're monthly as well. So it looks like 10, 11, it looks like AGNC pays monthly dividends. Let me see what AGNC even is. What is AGNC stock? Let's see. I just Google this kind of stuff. AGNC. So they're based out of Maryland. They have, they're super small, 53 employees. It looks like if they're talking about realty income, I used to trade realty income a long time ago. Maybe they're a real estate investment trust. So you want to be conscious about a few things. Number one, dividend stocks are one strategy, which can work great, but option strategies are something different. So me, again, I don't know this stock or anything, but the viewer said that you paid $9.50 or $10 per share. Me personally, I like to just not have stock and just create income off the shares. So there's usually no right or wrong answer, like, hey, like you can sell a call and sell your shares, or you can keep it and keep the dividend, whatever works for you. You could sell a covered call right now, although they're not paying much money. So if you sold an 11.50 call, that's only going for $4. That's nothing. Holy cow. It might have something to do with the dividend. So you want to see when that dividend pays. Personally, I don't really trade a lot of dividend stocks because it gets a little bit confusing. And then I just want to make money via income selling options. So it's just a different strategy. But I hope that helped answer a little bit. I know you previously said it's not a good idea to sell in the money calls. I never sell in the money calls. That's not to say that it might not work for you. Like, here's an example. Let's say I bought a stock for $10 and right now it's selling at $11.50, like kind of like this as an example, AGNC. I would sell like the next strike price over what it's trading now. So personally, I don't ever sell an in-the-money contract, but that's not to say that you can't do it. So it's totally up to you and what you feel most comfortable doing. Let's see. RCAT. I don't know what RCAT is. What is RCAT? Let's take a look. RCAT. That sounds kind of weird. RCAT stock. Red Cat Holdings. 119. Oh, they're out of Puerto Rico. I love Puerto Rico. I like Puerto Rico. Let's take a look. RCAT. I never heard of this before. $11.94 per share. I always take a look at the chart. Yeah, I don't know. I can check it out and maybe do a video on it. So if you guys want a specific video, like sometimes I'll do a video, like recently I did a video comparing NVIDIA and SPY. Who liked that video? Let me know. Who likes NVIDIA? Who likes SPY? So many people are trading SPY. I was outside walking my dog the other day, yesterday I think it was, and a guy in the building, he's like, Michelle, he was telling me about his, sometimes I see people in the building here and talk about their trades, and he was telling me about his SPY trade. And I don't know why so many people like trading SPY. I think it's the worst ticker that there is. Let me know who trades SPY, who trades NVIDIA. I should take a vote. Also, hey, check this out, by the way. Oh my gosh, somebody else sent me $5. Man, I appreciate that. I love that. That means so much to me. The fact that I can be here and help you guys like with trading, and here's what you could look at, and then you honor me by not just being here, but like tipping me $5, man. I so appreciate that. I feel like I'm gonna cry even thinking about that. Thank you. That's from TC2674. OQ Option Queen. I love that. Hey, check this out, and you guys let me know if this is important. I'm gonna go through some more questions as well. Recently I put something on my YouTube, and I prompted people to tell me what you guys are struggle with trading, right? Like where do you need some help? Where can you do you get confused, that kind of thing. And I got an overwhelming response. I got a lot of emails. I got a lot of posts on here. And I was thinking about doing a program where we get together like a small group, like, right? So not one-on-one, but let's say 20 people or something like that. And we get together every Monday, every Wednesday, every Friday, and we kind of go through your trades. So the advantage of that, one of the common challenges that people said that they had was, you don't want to lose money, you don't know what stock to choose, you don't know what strike to choose, that kind of thing. So I was thinking, like, if I was able to walk through things with people on a regular basis, let's say for a month, right, for 1 month's time, would that be advantageous? Who would be interested in that? Like, what kind of like cost do you think that should have? Let me know in the comments here or email or whatever if that's something. Happy Man says, "Come on, tip your queen." I love it, man. I love it, and thank you guys also for being good. It gets a little under my skin when people correct my pronunciation. Like sometimes I say ibit, I bit. The other day I did an amazing video. Man, it took me like, honestly, it took me like 7 hours to do this video. It was the one with the spreadsheets and stuff like that. Anyway, he said I said the dividing wrong. I said this divided by this instead of this into that or whatever. I'm not a math guru. And sometimes that gets under my skin, so that's kind of funny. All right, let's go through some questions. I feel like all I'm doing is saying funny things, and maybe they're not even so funny. Do you ever sell puts and calls on the same stock with different strike prices at the same time? That is a really good question, Rookie1661. I do. I trade a lot of the same stuff over and over again. So like if I'm trading Mara, usually I'm long 100 shares and I'm short a put, and I might be short, let's say a $10 put and perhaps short a $9.50 put. Usually I go out just 1 week, right? Maybe sometimes 2 weeks, but I don't usually like going out a long time. And I do like having, depending on how much money I have in that account. So like, for example, this $5,000 account, I don't want to, let's say, have 5 contracts because I want to have cash if the price drops. So I definitely want to keep, cash on the side in case the price drops. So that's something that you want to keep in mind. Let's see. Fear is my biggest problem too. Fear of losing or not knowing the best adjustment for my position. That's a really good point. Yeah, I would encourage you guys. Fear is important to recognize, right? For sure. And it's an important thing to respect. But I would encourage you guys to perhaps think about it a little bit different way. Just think about it a little bit differently in your mind, perhaps. A lot of times we're afraid of things that never even happen. And fear of losing. Like, I always think about what's the worst case scenario. Like, let's say worst case scenario, what would happen? And that helps kind of put things into perspective. So for example, let's say I'm selling a put on something. Let's say I sell a put on Mara because I had Mara last week, M-A-R-A, Mara stock. Let's say, the company goes bankrupt. What I think about is like, what's the likelihood of that happening? And then, Nina, can you give him some water, please? What's the likelihood of that happening? And then if that happened, how would that affect my life, right? So like if I sell a put on Mara, like a $9.50 put or a $10 put, and that company went bankrupt, would that affect my life? And if the answer is no, or also I think about like, how am I going to think about this in a year's time or 5 years time? Is this going to be relevant to me? So that's actually something I think about. And if it's not, no, for the dog. If that's not something that is going to be relevant in 5 years, then maybe I shouldn't be as afraid as I am, right? So anyway, that's a little bit about fear, and hopefully that helps. Go Play Outside. What an interesting name. What is your opinion of selling puts on weekly dividend ETFs such as GLDW? I don't like the dividend stuff. Listen, because it gets kind of confusing. Not long ago, I sold some puts on. I like Tesla, but in this account I can't. It's kind of a smaller account. It's $5,000 account. So obviously Tesla is too expensive. So I had in the past traded TSLL, and let's in fact take a look at it together. It's one of those leveraged funds which aren't that good because they're made up of a whole bunch of warrants and futures and stuff like that. And here's what you get with things that pay sometimes dividends or some sort of distribution payments. Like you get contracts that look like this, right? So do you see this contract? Here's a January 16th that says 100 here, and January 16th that says $7.94, because they get adjusted based on the income distributions, right? See, here's the income distributions that you can see on the chart. I find that stuff confusing, and honestly, here's how I look about confusing things. Like, I can only fit so much stuff up in my head, and when things are confusing, it's too much work for me. So no, personally, in answer to your question, Go Play Outside. I don't really like selling puts on weekly dividend ETF things. So yeah, But I love the emojis, by the way, the big question marks and the big exclamation points. Let's see. Hey, Michelle, was a BBAI fan for a while, but lately I've gotten into CRML, sold 2 contracts today with a January 23rd expiration, 13.5 in premium. Well, that sounds pretty good. $1,350 in premium. CRML, I don't know what that is, but let's take a look at it together. CRML, let's see. CRML. So that is Critical Critical Metals Corp. And 2 contracts today with a January 23rd expiration at $13.50. I'll have to check that out. I like how it has weekly contracts. So a couple of things that I always look at when I'm looking at selling something, right? Selling a put on something or buying some shares, selling covered call. I want to make sure that it has weekly contracts. So this does. So that's kind of cool. And then also I want to, I think when you said at $13.50, it looks like that's not the premium that you got, but that's probably the strike price that you use. So sorry about that. If you guys don't mind, I would ask you guys to sometimes it can be confusing, interpreting what people are saying. So $13.50 is the strike price, and if you say typically at is generally assuming at whatever the price is. So I think what you're saying here, Joe phone 6489 is for CRML January 23rd. That's January 16th. Let's see, January 23rd, $13.50 at $100. So right now it's $100 bid, $115 ask. I'll have to check out this stock. I've never heard of that, but thank you for sharing that. Here's the cool thing about having a community, guys. It's so amazing, when you can see what other people are trading. Hey, I don't know, maybe that's kind of a good thing. Let me take a look at it. I never heard of that before. So I really appreciate when you guys share those with one another. So Michael Pierce says this is a good question. Do you keep a written log of each trade in a notebook? If not, how do you keep up with your total profit and loss at the end of the year for tax purposes? So that's a really good question. So first of all, for tax purposes, you're going to get a 1099 from whatever broker-dealer that you're working with, right? So that's one thing. So you're going to get a 1099. Number 2, what I do is I really keep track of realized gain loss. So I look at what's my realized gain? For example, I'm going to say current month, right? I mean, the month just started, but let's see, current month. And okay, how much money did I make on a realized gain basis? So I keep spreadsheets. So I don't really keep a paper or notebook or anything. And I am in the process of creating these applications that keep that kind of stuff electronically. But in the meantime, I would encourage you to keep a spreadsheet because realized gains and realized losses, that's the most important thing. Listen, paper gains, paper losses does not matter. Because you can't spend that. So you really want to pay attention and focus on realized gain, realized losses. So hopefully that's helpful. So Junior says AGNC pays a good monthly dividend. So again, that's, if that's something that's important to you. Oh, somebody else just tipped me $5. Thank you. Or maybe that was the same $5 from before. Thank you for that. Appreciate that. Let's see. Got a lot of questions here. Cheap for such a great stock. NVIDIA, SPY is the worst. Tell me more. Listen, I'm not saying anything is necessarily bad. Here's the thing about SPY. And I have a few videos on this, so I don't want to go too deep because I did do a few videos. First of all, it's a $600 stock. It's almost $700 a share. So $695 a share. And the implied volatility is so low. Here's the good thing about SPY. It's got daily expirations, so that's kind of cool if you want to sell contracts every day. But let's see, a 16th contract. Let's see, 693. The implied volatility is 17. I don't know, 16%. You don't get paid any money, and it's super, super expensive. So for the risk that you're taking, no, I think that's a goofy. I think that's a goofy trade. Also, like trade SPY, like I don't know, trade SPY or Nvidia. Nvidia is like the biggest holding inside SPY. Forget about SPY. Just trade Nvidia. A lot of the holdings are like tech companies. One goes up, they all go up. They're all kind of correlated. I have other videos online that talk more about that. Let's see, great video. Jerry says, great video, NVIDIA versus SPY. Thank you, Jerry. I really appreciate that. I thought that was pretty good, too. Is this where you always update your 5K account at the beginning of live or toward the end? Yeah, good point. I didn't update it yet. I'm not going to put a trade in today. I'm just answering your questions. Right now, I'm focusing a lot of time and energy on the applications that I'm building. So I'm about to launch this sort of, like learning application on investments, and I've been focusing all my time and all my energy on that. I had Samara shares that got assigned Friday. So this is my money. So I don't want to just like just buy or sell anything just to show you. I want to do it if it's something that I want to hold that trade. So I'm just going to wait. So if tomorrow I put a trade in, I'm going to go live and show you. Or if it's Wednesday, I'm going to go live and show you. But it's not necessarily at the beginning or at the end. It's during this session here. And if you missed this session, you could just check the recording. So that's cool too. Let's see. How long does it take with Schwab to settle your funds? So is it available for trading? Settlement is always like, it used to be T plus 2, I think. Now it's T plus 1. So if I put a trade in today, it settles in 1 day. That's typical for Schwab or any broker dealer that you're with. That's an industry sort of like how the industry works. If your options expire on a Friday, is it available on Monday? I don't know. Let's take a look. So for example, I had these Mara shares get called away on Friday, and now I show, all the cash in my account right now. So it is, in answer to your question, it is Rookie1661. It is available on Monday. If it's an IRA. Lexlin says if it's an IRA, it settles on Tuesday. So that's a good point, Lexlin. Thank you for adding that contribution. So an IRA is going to have different rules than regular individual accounts, so that's something that you want to keep in mind. Is there a good time frame to buy stocks before earnings? 1 week, 3 days, the day of earnings? Here's the thing about earnings. That's a really good question. Earnings bring additional volatility. So volatility can be very good because, the more volatile, it gives you more swing and ultimately more premium, right? So you make more money, more income. When you're new, I always encourage you just to kind of stay away from earnings. I think it's important when you're new that you don't want to, let's say, you don't want to make a mistake or lose money right off the bat because you want to kind of start off strong. But typically earnings will be volatile like a handful of days beforehand. So hopefully that answers your question. Jason says, I'm new here and noticed your super cool Udemy course that teaches selling puts and covered calls. I observed other YouTubers YouTubers. I just lost the, hang on 1 second. Popularizing other strategies, wheels, vertical spreads, etc. That's a good question, Jason. All right, let me answer that. I try to keep everything super simple. So I try to just focus on selling a put. You pick a good quality company, like a good quality stock, and you're choosing the strike price. And I'm okay, let's say, buying the stock if it drops to that price. If I have to buy those shares, I'm going to sell a covered call against those shares. If while I have those shares, the price keeps going down, I'm going to sell another put and I'm going to take in more income and average my price down if I get assigned. So I'm kind of always sticking with the same tickers, right? So that's kind of how I do it. Sometimes I do talk about spreads, and I have some classes, like courses and videos on spreads, but honestly, they're kind of a pain in the neck. I started putting some info together on doing a spread. First of all, you have to have margin in your account to trade a spread. So that's number one. And I'm not a big believer these days in margin. In the past, I've used margin a lot, and margin can really, really get you in trouble. Like, it's very, very good, and you can accelerate your gains. But oftentimes, if you're over leveraging, that's the only time I've ever lost like bunches of money in trading, is from using too much margin, from being too over leveraged. But that's a good question. I don't. Listen, a lot of YouTubers, they're just like trying to get views. And honestly, I'm trying to get views too, because I just hit 5,000 subscribers recently. I had 500 like 4 months ago. Now I'm at 5,000. I want to be at 10,000 right away. But not because you make money, because you don't make much money, YouTube, and it's a lot of work. But I don't know, maybe part of it's ego and part of it's, I don't even know. But my point is this. A lot of people talk about things on YouTube because they just want to get views. I talk about things that are helpful for you. I want you to make money and change your life. Like, dude, I don't know. Like, I feel like my life is blessed. Like right now, these days, I'm in New York. I'm going to go back to LA soon. I was in Bali not long ago. I was in the Virgin Islands many, many years. You can trade from anywhere, and that's super cool. And you can use the income that you make trading to sustain your lifestyle. So that's what I'm passionate about, is like helping people like, create this like weekly, consistent, ongoing income for themselves and radically changing their lifestyle. So that's kind of like my YouTube thing, but a lot of other people on YouTube are like just trying to get views. Anyway, yeah, so I'm not really, when you say wheels, vertical spreads, I'm just about selling puts and covered calls mostly. Do you use technical analysis when selling a put? I think I heard you say before that you sell puts on a stock sometimes no matter what the price is. That's a really good point. That's correct. I don't really focus on like where I'm going to get in and where I'm going to get out. I just mostly focus on the ticker. I do look at some things. I'm going to make a video soon on some technical analysis that I look at. Like, for example, I do look at, what was it that we were looking at before, where it was like gaps. I look at gaps in the chart. I mean, I kind of look at like, okay, what's the sort of overall, this is SPY as an example, but what's the overall sort of, where's the movement going? Is it kind of like slow and steady? Is it up like this? Is it down significantly, like parabolic? But I don't use like MACD indicators, Bollinger Bands, like moving averages. I think trading can be like easy if you make it, or it can be kind of hard if you make it. And yeah, so I don't really want to make things hard. And also, I don't believe in perfection. I think this is important to note. Like, I don't believe in like picking a top, picking a bottom, like timing things perfectly. I'm more about like, hey, I just want to make some income this week. Yeah, and there's no right or wrong answer. I just want to make some income. Let's see. I appreciate your relational energy as a teacher. Thank you. I appreciate that. I try to make things like fun, right? So like, I don't want to be boring. Like whoever that was like picking on my math, how I talked about math, this divided by that divided by that. I don't believe you have to be some math guru or some MIT graduate, or it doesn't matter if you graduated high school, have college experience, I truly believe that everybody can trade options, and you could do that successfully. And you don't have to know a lot of different things, and you could just kind of like stick with the basics and do very, very well and create income for yourself on a regular basis. So yeah, so that's a good point. Let's see, new to options but not markets. I'm a futures swing trader. The learning curve is real. So I'm doing a 30-day deep dive into SEC filings. I think, dude, you're saying like S3, 10K, 10Q, DEF 14A. Thank you, first of all, happy man, for that message. I totally believe that SEC filings are like one of the most underused things. Like, because here's the thing, like, let's just pop in there real quick. What he's referring to is like the Edgar page, so SEC Edgar. So first of all, number one, all public companies have to disclose what the trades are for insiders. officer, director, or controlling shareholder of a publicly traded company. If you buy 5 shares, 500 shares, you buy shares, your spouse buys shares in a trust, it's got to be disclosed to the SEC via like a Form 3, which is a new purchase, or a new purchase for somebody new in that stock, or a Form 4, which is subsequent purchases. So you look up, like, I don't know, let's just say Tesla as an example. I just picked that out of the air. And you would find like Forms 3 and Form 4s in the ownership disclosures. Happy Man's talking about like Def 14A. Those are, and 8Ks, and there's also like 144s are like structured cells for when people sell blocks of shares. Like, for example, let's just see what this is. This is Kimball Musk selling, a whole bunch of stock. Now it doesn't mean that, like, when you're looking at the SEC filings, it doesn't say, hey, this is a bad stock, or hey, I shouldn't trade this, or I want to sell that. But it gives you like really good background information. So let me give you an example. I just use an example, like people buy and sell for a variety of reasons. Like Kimball Musk is Elon's brother, right? So he might be selling 56,000 shares, but he still has, I don't even know what this number is, 3 billion shares or something like that afterward. So maybe he's selling some shares to like pay taxes or, rebalance his account. So it's not necessarily a bad thing that he's selling shares, but you want to see, like, for example, let's say Warren Buffett owns a whole bunch of Delta Airlines. I'll just use that as an example. And you're investing in Delta, and then he sells all his shares. Well, I don't know. Is Warren Buffett pretty smart? Yeah, he's pretty smart. If he's selling all his shares, maybe that's something that you might want to take a look at. So SEC filings are super, super helpful. Now, for a long time, a few years back, I had an app that was called Follow the Whales. It was an app on iOS, on your iPhone, that sent push notifications. I'm redesigning all of that now, and because these filings can be kind of confusing. Okay, like, for example, let me go back here. I got ownership disclosures. I have 8K, 10K. Where do I find the disclosures where companies like issue new shares via offerings or that kind of thing? So they can be confusing. So stay tuned for that. But this in general is something that's super important. So thanks for sharing that, Happy Man. So Lorena says, I have a little over 1,100 shares and just reinvest the dividends each month. I like REITs because they typically pay monthly, but the taxes are a bit higher. Yeah, so that's a good point. So taxes, you probably get a K1 when you invest in a REIT. Taxes are important to be conscious of, but you don't want to like make your decisions because of taxes. I always say, like, man, if you're making money and you're paying taxes, that's a good problem to have, right? I appreciate what you're doing. Thank you. Appreciate that. Your opinion or thoughts on prop firms. That's so interesting that you asked. That always comes up in each of these sessions, and my son is always asking me about prop firms. I don't think there's any prop firms that trade options. I don't think. So you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I haven't seen any. So I don't really have an opinion on that. Lexlin says, Jason, selling calls or puts is all you need. I used to think I needed more. Nope. Listen, I think that we are ingrained as humans to like make things more difficult, right? Like we want to experience this challenging thing and then overcome it. And I think that's why we do what we do. But the fact is, it doesn't have to be that hard. And when you're doing this correctly, when you're selling puts and selling covered calls, and you're doing it right, it's actually quite boring. That's kind of funny. Okay, let's see. Check my levels on ES, NQ, GC, BTC. Yeah, I don't know what that message is, so I'm not sure. Regarding Greeks, I heard a lot about Delta. Delta is like one of the only things that I really talk about. Listen, Greeks are like, Delta, Theta, Gamma, Vega. Delta, in my opinion, is the most important because it kind of represents what's the statistical likelihood that a stock is going to drop from where it is to the strike price before the contract expires, right? What percentage likelihood? Let me walk through an example with you, right? So, for example, I don't know, I'm looking at SPY, so I'll just use that as an example, although I think SPY is a terrible thing to trade because you don't get paid that much money. Like, as an example, let's say SPY is 695, and let's say we want to sell a 10 delta. It's got a 10% likelihood. It's going to drop to 682 between now and Friday, right? Now, the delta percentage changes all the time. So sometimes it goes up, sometimes it goes down, but it gives us like an idea of, how likely it is. And here's why I don't like SPY. I'm selling a $681 put, right? And I'm paid $46. I don't know. Let's take a look and see if that's good premium, right? So 46 bucks, right, on this particular contract, and I'm committing $68,100. Also, here's the thing: if I'm selling a 681 put, I want to have more cash to sell another put if it goes down. So if I got 68,000 on one trade and I want to have like another, let's say 68,000, man, I got to put up a lot of dough for a very, very small amount of money. It's not a good, in my view, is not a good trade. This is your rate of return, right? If I did that every week over a year's time, here's how much I'm making. 3%. No, it's bad. Okay, you could also make a little bit more if you go closer to the money, right? So let's say I want to sell a $695 put. That's paying 300 bucks. Okay, that's a 47 delta, but I'm putting up $69,500. Let's see if that's a good deal. If I'm making $302 and I'm putting up 69.5K, how much am I making? 0.5% times 52. Okay, I'm making 22%, but it's so likely that it's going to get assigned because it's like right at the money. Yeah, no, bad trade. All right, one more question. I'm going to do one more question, then we're going to call it a day. 3:56 p.m. I started at the beginning of the live watching at 2 times speed. I'll be in the live in about 20 minutes. From Philippines Rider. I like your posts, by the way, Philippines Rider. Always like sharing. You are trading way too many tickers, though. I got to tell you. And you're using too much margin. It is so easy to make money when things are going well. And then it's harder not to lose it when things explode. And they can do so very, very quickly. Yeah. Anyway, I think we went for an hour. I want to say a couple things. I want to say a special thank you to these people that have these crowns on your head. I think that's because Boston One Kid, man, you've been here from the beginning. And you comment a lot, and I really, really appreciate you. And there's lots of people on here. Lorena, lots of comments. And the people that sent me, Happy Man, that sent me $5, and TC2674, much love. That's like the 4th time that it happened to me. I appreciate that. Man, it's like, that makes my heart happy that you guys are appreciative like that. Anyway, I hope this helps. If you missed the live, and thank you for the hearts, by the way. Oh, man, keep the hearts coming. Keep the hearts coming. Let me know in the comments and also an email, what kind of info do you guys want to see? Are you interested in, let's say, having a month's program every Monday, Wednesday, Friday where you walk through your trades and I help you do that? Is that of interest to you? Let me know. Those are some ideas that I was thinking about. I don't want to presume that I know what you guys are looking for, and I don't want to waste your time. I don't want to waste my time, and I want to deliver valuable content. So anyway, with that said, oh my gosh, I really appreciate all the hearts. Man, you guys really are the best audience ever. Thank you for watching, and tune in next Monday. If I make a change, because I don't have anything in this portfolio, I just got cash. If I make a trade tomorrow or Wednesday or Thursday, I'm going to let you know on the YouTube. You'll get a notification if you're subscribed, and then you're going to see that live. And don't worry if you miss it. You could catch the recording. Thanks again, everybody. I love you guys, and I hope this is helpful, and I'll see you guys soon.